Hey guys, what I'm going to do with this quick tutorial is to show you guys how you're going to submit your assignments for the literature review paper. I'm also going to show you guys a rubric that you'll be using not only for peer review, but I'll be using to grade your papers. So the first thing I want to start is with the rubric, and this is available on Moodle. And so it's available through the submission page as well as I'm putting it as an actual separate attachment so you guys can just take a look at some of these points. Now, the thing about the literature review is that it's in sort of two parts. So it's worth a total of 20 points out of 100 of your entire grade, because your whole grade's worth 100 points. So this is a substantial chunk. Now, part of that 20 points will come from peer review. So that means that somebody is going to actually read your paper, give you feedback, okay, using this rubric, and that's going to take up part of your points. Now, the other bigger chunk of points will come from my grading of your paper. So the important thing here is, as a peer reviewer who's reading other people's papers, is to give them feedback enough to help them so that when it comes to me, that they'll get a really good grade. And hopefully the person who's grading your paper will do the same thing. Now, I will choose who grades whose paper, so just to let you know that. So this is the rubric that you guys are going to use, and this will be manually on Moodle. So you'll actually click the unacceptable, poor, acceptable, good, or excellent options for each criterion, and there are 6 criterions. Okay, so just to kind of walk you through, this, for example, is criterion 1 about the thesis and the topic of the paper. This is, if they broke it up into subtopics, what was the overall theme line? Did they talk about the previous work and explain the purpose and importance of it? And so this should also help you in terms of finishing up and writing your paper, because you can make sure that what you have currently matches what you're going to be graded on. So I didn't want to put this up too soon because I wanted to make sure you guys got started on your papers. Then you can kind of go back and tweak to make sure it fits all the categories. I am extending that new date to April 8th to turn your paper in for peer review, and I'm going to also send an email out. So as you can see here, if you mark your peer review paper, as a 0, that means that it was completely unacceptable, did not include the things that it should have. Whereas if you look down, excellent will mean 4 points for that criterion, and that exceeds standards and is a very, very good job. If you look at criterion 2, this is focused and sequencing, making sure that the organization of the paper is still there, is there, and that it's in a logical and organized manner. Of course, you go from unacceptable all the way to excellent on that. Criterion 3 is all about the conclusion. Did the person, conclude the paper very well, integrate all the ideas, things like that. And again, going from 0 to 4 on that. Grammar mechanics, you've got to read your paper. You've got to have spelling and grammar. Microsoft Word automatically looks for the most common spelling and grammatical errors. So if you've got red squiggly lines or green squiggly lines, take a look at those and make sure that you take a second pass to make sure that your paper reads well, because you will be graded on grammar mechanics. If you see here, criterion 5 is APA style. So make sure that you have your APA manual with you. And if you're a psych student and don't have an APA manual, you need to hurry up and get one, because you will need one, especially for senior seminar. In criterion 6 is citations and references, making sure every one of you should have at least 5 references from your original references. You can add to that, but you can't take away from your original references. Now, I will grade this much more harshly, and my points will be worth a little bit more than this 0 to 4. And I will take points off if you do not use the original 5 references that you were asked to submit. And if you didn't submit any references, then you get all the points off because you didn't submit that for the original assignment. So these are the criterions that you'll use to grade your peer review paper. These are the criterion that I'm going to use to grade your paper afterwards. Now, let me just explain this process a little bit in terms of submission. So when you go onto Moodle, you're going to see your page, okay? And I'm looking like this, like I'm a student, and I've highlighted this section with literature review paper so that okay, that's important. Now you're going to see here, this is going to look a little weird. It's got a little weird picture here. This is what we refer to as a workshop, but this is just a simple submission that you guys are going to do. I've got it open for submission only, meaning that you're going to put in your paper. This is your literature review paper. this is what you're submitting on April 8th. The original due date, I believe, was the 4th, but I've extended it to the 8th since I'm adding this sort of new submission technique that you guys have to, this new submission portal that you guys have to use. So before the 8th, you're going to submit this paper through Moodle. So here you can see this is the peer review paper submission. So this is what you're submitting to turn in. Okay, this is your paper, your literature review paper that you're submitting to turn in. The first step is peer review. So, you know, that's the first step, but this is your literature review paper. So you're going to click on this, and it's going to give you an interesting looking little series of boxes here. So after you click on it, you're going to see submission phase and a little section here that says submit your work. You can also go down here that says start preparing your submission. Now, when you save your paper on your computer or your flash drive or whatever it may be, I need you to save your name in the actual paper. Okay, so you need to save your name somewhere. So you can call it Sleep Literature Review Paper and then put your first and last name on there. Okay, because I need your name in the file. So once you do that, you've got it saved, it's ready to go. Okay, you're waiting, all you need to do is submit it to Moodle. You're going to go ahead and click on prepare your submission. Here, you can put the title, go ahead and put the title, same name as your file name. Say, you know, this is, you know, say literature review, and then, you know, paper, and then your name. You don't need to put anything here. You don't need to put anything in submission content right here, but you do need to call it something. Now, you're going to just click on this to browse your folders and select your paper. And then you're going to upload the file, okay? And then you're going to hit Save Changes, and then your submission is complete, okay? So all you need to do before the 8th, or by the 8th, is to submit your literature review paper. That is what you need to do. The actual peer review process, I'm going to show you guys how to do that, and I'm going to actually pick who reviews whose paper, okay? And I'm going to base this off of ability. So first I need to see your papers, and then I need to pair you guys up. And I'm hoping to do that by the 9th, so that way you guys have plenty of time to then do your peer reviews. So your actual peer reviews will be due on the 22nd of April. So that means that you will have to go in and actually edit and look at somebody else's paper. And then you will have an opportunity when everybody's submitted their papers to go through this right here, which is called the assessment phase. I'm going to walk you guys through that into selecting the paper that you've been assigned to peer review. You're going to click into it, and you're going to use this rubric that I've gone over, and you're going to select the most appropriate grading for each section. Now, one thing I do want to bring to your attention, if you don't already know how to use it, is one thing that you really need to do for your peer review is you're going to need to actually make comments on the person's paper. And that is so that the person can get your feedback. So if you see some misspellings, if you see some grammatical errors, you see some weird things that don't make sense, you can actually edit that. And you're going to go through the review process here, okay, and click on track changes. And that track changes anytime you make a correction on their paper. Okay, you know, you are, let's just say this is what you want to say, you can go to all markup here, and you can actually see the changes that the person made. And as a person who gets your paper back, I'll go through how to fix all of this so that you can make sure that you have that available. Now, let's say you don't have any actual changes for the paper, but let's say you have a comment about this. You don't like the way that they worded this. Go to new comment and say, you know, reword for clarity, or, you know, this sounds awkward. Okay, whatever, however you want, whatever comment you want to put there. But I need you guys to use this review feature, and I will go over that in another video. But this video is primarily to show you guys the rubric, so you guys have that. And again, it's going to be on Moodle, and to show you how to just submit your paper. So you're just going to submit your paper, your literature review, and then I will go through how to do all the other stuff later. So if you have any questions, I'm going to go over this again on Tuesday in class, and email me if you have any questions beyond that.